stories may be unconvincing, but they somehow manage to present themselves as likable and charming. For some people, however, the psychopath is too smooth or is simply playing a role. The psychopath can often talk about any subject as if he were an expert, often even using the jargon. Some of them do it so well and with such confidence that they can even fool psychologists, experts in this field, who are psychopaths. And at the same time, some of the serial killers talk about their crimes in gory detail with almost no emotion. People who experience this find it very unnerving. They will not show emotion, okay? Number 2, it's all about me. Psychopaths tend to have enormous egos, an incredible sense of entitlement, and an overinflated sense of their own self-worth and importance. They are arrogant and cocky. They have an opinion on everything, and they are always right. They have incredible confidence, but often without the competence. They typically have lots of grandiose plans for the future. "I want the world to be the way I want it to be," said one psychopath. In their role as guru or maestro, they often claim to have magic powers or be able to do things that other people cannot. This enhances their prestige among their followers. And if anyone questions them about why they're not using their gift right now, they always have a good story to excuse themselves. So that was the second thing. Third, and to me this is the most important because it's the easiest to find out about, absence of guilt and remorse. Remember, we're reading from a list here that's used by clinical psychiatrists to diagnose psychopaths. One of the most stunning characteristics of a psychopath is the total lack of guilt or remorse that they experience, regardless of the effect of their actions on others. From serial killers to cult leaders to corporate psychopaths to the child psychopath, they all typically have a justification for the decisions they have made and for what they have done. Interviews with psychopaths, oh good, this is getting into the more modern stuff. Interviews with psychopaths reveal that for them, people are simply objects, things to be used. Even family members have the same value as other things they own, such as a mobile phone or a coat. And use people they do. They will take their money, their possessions, their time, their expertise, their efforts, their bodies, and their souls. People who have been duped by psychopaths for religious reasons have said that it's like being raped spiritually. And all this without the slightest care in the world for the victims. The absence of remorse is evidenced by the fact that many psychopaths, even after being caught and punished for some crime, continue to do the same thing. When caught out, psychopaths will often deny or minimize the effect of their actions on others. In fact, they typically make out that they are the victim, and they can play the victim role very well. For them, it's simply another one of the masks that they present to the world. The next one is going to be lack of empathy. Another one of the important characteristics of a psychopath, inability to understand what other people are feeling or experiencing. They don't know what it's like to be in somebody else's shoes. And I know you guys know I preach that all the time. Take a walk in somebody else's shoes, you know, when it comes to racism or sexism or religious intolerance. This is something you need to be able to do. But a psychopath cannot do this. It's not that they, you know, there are many things they can do. This is something they can't do. Understand what it might be like to be another human. What they do, here's what they do is learn about emotions. They learn from other people what emotions feel like, what they experience, and what is expected in certain situations. Therefore, they can appear to be very caring and loving, but it's all a charade, a show, play acting in order to manipulate the emotions of others. Being incapable of empathy means they are incapable of love. The emotional world of a psychopath is indeed shallow and dark. This can be difficult to understand when dealing with a sociopath. And they've got links there that go into more detail. The next one, just to keep this flowing, deceit and manipulation. "I lie like I breathe," and I'm quoting, "one as much as the other," explained one psychopath. But even when they are caught, they call it caught out here instead of called out. So I don't know what that means. But anyway, but even when they are caught out in a lie, they simply carry on. Remember, no guilt or remorse. They simply change the story and try to fit it in with the lie. Sometimes they lie so much it's difficult to know if they know themselves that they're lying. The answer is usually yes. And typically they are proud of the fact that they are good liars. That big ego again. And it is one of the extraordinary characteristics of a psychopath that they are totally unfazed by being cut out in a lie. This must be English. It's these little phrases, cut out in a lie. I don't know what that means. But, you know, I'm using context. Why do they lie? To manipulate and control others. They are all the time trying to dominate and control. Dominate and control. They believe that the world is full of predators and prey, and they are definitely predators. Other people are weak, stupid, and deserve to be taken advantage of. In fact, the psychopath is doing them a favor, teaching them lessons. When you consider the characteristics of a psychopath we've looked at so far, it's no wonder that they swindle, cheat, con, and defraud others. They play by different rules than normal people, rules that normal people are totally unaware of. Normally, people do not consider that others willfully do evil and harm because they have no conscience. They're simply unaware of how psychopaths work. This puts them at a tremendous disadvantage in a relationship with a sociopath. And there's also a link to that. Shallow emotion psychopaths are unable to describe the intricacy of different emotions because they don't experience them. They may mistake sexual arousal for love or anger for irritability. One thing that is common is that many of them say they can make themselves angry. They say they can turn it on and off, but they don't know how fear feels. They can certainly notice the signs of fear in other people, but they are unable to describe any bodily sensations. For many people, fear is a motivator in that they may do things or not do things because of the fear of consequences. Not so in psychopaths, because they don't experience the unpleasant sensations of fear. This obviously has far-reaching effects on the decisions they make. They do, however, know how to manipulate others through fear. A world apart, finally. These characteristics of a psychopath may seem unreal to normal people, but for those who have been victims, understanding the inner work of a psychopath may be the only way to make sense out of the torment and distress they have experienced. And now they're talking about, let's have a look at the lifestyle that occurs because of the characteristics of a psychopath. So I'm going to pull that up. But before we get into that, I'm going to go ahead and check in chat, and we'll talk a little bit more about our fiction story. Apocalypse Barco, what's up? Wow, you guys have really taken off in the chat. I don't know if I can catch up. And there's Matt too as well. My Dutch brother in arms. Yeah, okay. So this fictional story, guys, if you just joined the show, is about a woman named Chuckette. Her name's Chuckette. And she was involved in a divorce. Long story short, she's pissed off and has been pissed off for 10 or 12 years that her ex-husband pretty much exposed everything about her in this divorce. And she can't get over that. It's something that she continues to strike out on these crusades to destroy his life in any way she can. And most recently, she's even dipped so low, this fictional woman, as to call him a fugitive or felon. And which is really ironic when you consider that just tonight in this fictional story, she had the police come to warn this fugitive and felon that he may be about to violate a court order. Now think about that. So there's the police at this ex-husband's door, and they know who he is. They've looked him up, but they're not trying to bring him in. Does that really sound like a fugitive to you at all? No? Well, in the mind of a psychopath, and in the mind of this particular fictitious character named Chuckette, that doesn't click. She doesn't understand that you can't go on your social media and say somebody's a fugitive, but then not include the fact that you had the law go deliver him a warning tonight and the law didn't arrest him. Because fugitives get arrested and brought in. Yeah, it's the craziest thing. Barco, Kevin, for being too damn handsome that you can be out in public during daylight hours. That may be right, Barco. No, I'm not as handsome as I was. I used to be crazy handsome. Now I'm just like a guy, you know. Now I'm just like a guy. You know, I've got bad posture because of my back. I'm not, you know, it's a long way to fall, I'll tell you that. Dames be fickle. Yeah, which is another way to say bitches do be hating. So anyway, this fictitious woman, you know, let's talk about some of the things she's done. God, there's so many. What are the most interesting ones you'll find to you? Well, first, she cheated on her ex-husband. Now remember, she was marrying her fourth husband before the age of 30. So you can do some math there, right? Do you think it was all the guy's fault? She just happened to get 4 bad guys in a row? Or should we be looking at her some? I don't know. Yeah, I told you my felony, KAK. What's yours? That's the thing. I've never committed a felony. Never. Google the fuck out of that. In a way, your felony, Barco, is kind of admirable. You have the Neo in Matrix. You have the Neo felony. I don't have one. I never committed one. So I don't know. But apparently I'm a felon, because that's what she wants people to believe. In a way, I wish I had. Yeah, you can have her number and Facebook. I'm not allowed to talk about her on the internet, but I know a guy named Apocalypse who might be able to hook you up, Barco. And he also, consequently, happens to be in the chat room. Yeah, this fictitious character, Chuckette, she'll do anybody. You come along with a swinging dick, she's in with it. She's down with that. Yeah, I didn't know that when I wrote her character. And this guy that married her certainly didn't know that, but he found out. Yeah, help yourself, man. She's like a female buffet. You just go eat. You just pay the cover and don't leave till you're ready to leave. Yeah, this fictitious character. You're a targeted individual as well. Why is that, Matt? Who's targeting you? Does she have herpes or other STDs? I'll assume she does. That way I don't have to disclose my STDs. Okay. I would say don't disclose anything. If you want to get in touch with this fictitious character and get together with her, don't tell her if you've got let's say every morning at 3 a.m., you've got a grenade that goes off in your ass and you shit on everything. I wouldn't disclose that either. Just do it. Just go get comfortable in her bed. Make sure to aim at her face, aim your ass at her face at about 2:59 a.m. And then kaplooey! It's the pooey! Hey Andrew, my friend from Australia now and there. I have no STDs for what it's worth. Who you trying to impress, man? It's all guys in here right now. Anyway, so this fictitious character named Chuckette, she's done some things. Now, what would you think about a woman who had a 6-month-old baby, and the baby had been crying in the back of the car? 6-month-old babies, they'll do that. They've been known to cry. You don't always know why. Now, what would you do if you had married this woman, and she brought this 6-month-old baby upstairs, and she said, and I'll quote, "Take this fucking baby before I throw her through the fucking wall"? How would you feel about her? Well, this fictitious character, she did that. Yeah, and the fiction story, the fictitious story I'm telling you, she did that. One of many things like that. Sure did. What else? Let's see, this fictitious character almost, in my story, almost got into a fist fight with her brother while holding the baby. The baby at that time was about 8 months old. Yeah. Brother threw a punch at her, barely missed the baby, grazed her, and caught the sister. And in this story, that's not true, of course, the father and husband had to go up and take the baby to get this 8-month-old baby out the middle of a fist fight between adults. How does that make you feel about this Chuckette? I'm just getting started here, folks. Just getting started. Remember, she's already cheated on him. She's willing to take any swinging dick that comes through the door. And now she's got this behavior going on. How's that? Does that sound motherly to you? Sound like a maternal instinct doing its work? Or does it sound like somebody who may not be able to empathize with others, including her own infant? That's kind of the angle I'm going with my fictitious story here. Yeah. Wasn't sure if I could post this person's info in this chat here. Apocalypse, it is a free country, and I encourage you to use your First Amendment rights at all times, my friend. Last night around 3 a.m. Oh, that's cool, Barco. Did you get to look at any of them? Barco ordered my paperback books, which I appreciate because I get a couple bucks from that when somebody does that. And hopefully they're not too ding to you. But if you want to send them to me, I'll give my mailing address. Of course, I'll sign all those for you. An Onion article. Okay, yeah. Well, I like that one. Good. I will